adventurers and curious souls, and welcome to the Tales of Thanabus, where we're going to be playing the very first tabletop RPG story set in Ember Sword, and we hope you will come along for the ride. Together, our 5 brave adventurers, you can see them here, will go on a mystical quest, a mystical journey through the edges of Solarwood to locate something only heard about in myths and legends. Now let's go around and meet the people playing it. Please introduce yourselves, maybe your role in Bright Star.
My name is Oliver. I'm a gameplay programmer. This is actually my first time playing D&D in like a real setting like this. I'll be playing the Fluxmaster Lysander, so looking forward to it.
I'm Glyn. I am a engine programmer. I have a couple of years experience playing D&D. I think 7 or 8 years by now, and I play the priest Elias Aragast.
I am Mike. I'm a QA engineer. So I've played some D&D and some Pathfinder, but I've never finished a campaign or spent significant time in it at all. My character is Viper, an urchin rogue character, and I'm really looking forward to sneak around and explore places.
Hi everyone, I am Fanny. I am a people and recruitment partner. I have never played D&D before. I've always wanted to, and today I will be playing Runa, who is a little bit of an antisocial berserker.
Hi everyone, I'm Dasha, or Daria, and I lead business development and partnerships. And my character is Battlemaster fighter called Isira. And while Azira is a true hero, I personally don't have experience playing D&D, but I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate, so hopefully those skills will prove useful. And I also brought some props. This will be my sword that I'll be fighting.
Love it.
Whatever comes our way.
All right, great. Thanks everyone, and welcome so much. I'm your humble storyteller and game master tonight. My name is Fora. I'm leading the community management team of Ember Sword. At last, I think a unique message to our viewers that you should know that each of our heroes tonight have a unique Ember Sword ability, depending on their class, that they can use once in the whole story. So watch out and let's see what opportune moments they each individually pick to go all out in whatever unfolds for the rest of the night. So, all right, let's tell some stories.
Business time.
Yes.
So it begins.
Our story tonight begins in the nation of Solarwood. In the world of Thanabus, the once devastated nation has flourished in the centuries that followed the catastrophe and the fall of Pangaea. The forest in Solarwood, now an expansive, serene territory. Footpaths wind through the trees, guiding you past simple farms, ancient structures, each telling a story of the land's resilience. As you step further into this enchanted realm, the echoes of the past beckon, and the promise of the new future, and what discoveries await amidst the verdant embrace of Solarwood. Now let's get a little bit more specific. The air in this little hamlet that we are in, surrounding the Limping Bear Tavern. I'll kind of ping and bring everyone here. The day had been filled with hustle and bustle, as the locals preparing for yet another night of survivors. Survivors and heroes from the Ultra Deep. This is few weeks after the Ultra Deeps have been successfully closed off by heroes, not by you, but by other heroes, perhaps greater heroes than you. We'll find out. And they are telling about their heroic deeds and stories. Stories that I think make some of you envious tonight, so keep that in mind. Maybe they inspire you, maybe they make you envious. We begin our story in this tavern, where 5 adventurers are sharing some drinks, bonding over the latest battle. We already heard a little bit about it, where they defended a caravan against fierce wolves. And things happened, things that should have happened and things that maybe shouldn't have happened. Maybe we'll uncover that later. Could these 5 adventurers become heroes too? Well, let's find out as we dive into the Tales of Thanabus, Fate's Embers. You should be seeing a tavern now. And you should be finding your characters carefully placed around the table. Please don't move them yet, but feel free to explore the tavern. I want to start with sending a hand out to you. and describing what you're seeing here, because the first character we're talking about tonight is Asira Firebrand, a warrior from Tranquility Village. You see, as always, fiery red hair, dark brown, soul-searching eyes. She wears the scars of pain and battles on her slightly tanned skin. She's always clad in heavy armor, probably also tonight, unless you think otherwise, Dasha. Even in this tavern, I mean, that is her look, that is her image, right? She likely has a shield somewhere, her longsword within reach. She usually moves with a purpose, and tonight is no other scenario. She's a resilient warrior, prepared for whatever comes at her. And she thinks she's destined for greatness. Now, Dasha, please tell me, what is Asira likely doing right now in this tavern?
Yeah, so the heavy armor and shield are a bit uncomfortable on her. Sitting down on the chair and everything, but a few ales may have helped ease that discomfort. And I think now she's socializing with friends. Socialization is not necessarily her forte, but she knows that everyone on this table is worthy, and she's willing to discover a little bit more about her fellow warriors or sorcerers and whoever is there. I don't think I'm familiar with the people that I'm at the table.
And I think that's actually a good segue. That's a good point, because you are sitting, almost in front of you are sitting two gentlemen. Let's start with those two next. One of them, and let's send another handout to you, is Elias Eragast. And when you look at Elias Eragast, you see a blonde young man with light blue eyes, exuding devotion. Elias moves purposely throughout the world, almost a little bit like Asira, actually. There you probably remind of each other. But he firmly believes in the guidance of the voice. You heard some of it a couple of days ago when you were fighting with him against the wolves, although I'm not sure you all understood. The symbol of the voice is literally tattooed on Elias's forehead. And he constantly wears almost headphone-like receivers, emitters, around both ears. To some, they might also look like earmuffs, almost. And they are designed to channel flux and enhance his ability to hear the voice. Now, Elias, are you drinking something tonight, eating something, and what are you doing and what's going through your head here at the table?
I was a little zoned out focusing on the voice, and I'm not capturing everything that's going on around me while I drink my singular glass of water and a meager meal that is quite small.
Do you have a prayer book on the table as well?
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. Then I think let's segue over to another gentleman who likely is sitting with some books. Perhaps not drinking water, perhaps drinking wine, but let's get back to that as I send you your third handout of Lysander Greylock, a dapper gentleman, adorned with he's quite the difference from Elias. Adorned with starry earrings, Lysander possesses an otherworldly charm, and he's not afraid to openly share it. Occasionally, you see residue of flux almost sparkle on his skin, on his ebony skin, and you're not sure if it's on purpose or if something that was left for like an experiment that maybe went wrong. Of course, if you ask Lysander, he would never say so, of course. It kind of enhances like this demeanor. He has beautiful, vibrant purple eyes that are very unique also to most solar woodlings. And again, let's continue there, because unlike typical Thanabusians or solar woodlings, Lysander stands out in this tavern. There's not a lot of people like him with his gems and necklaces and earrings and kind of baubles everywhere and arcane artifacts, white hair, purple eyes. He has this high collar that is very traditional to his family, coupled with fine clothing, very, very fine clothing, probably the finest here in the room. Just a slight hint to the richdom of the Greylock family dynasty of the capital. Rumored to actually, and if you ask Lysander, he will probably confirm, rumored to be tracing back all the way to the ancient Pangaea dynasty, centuries and centuries ago. So Lysander, with that introduction, kind of tell us what you're doing. Are you drinking wine? What are you reading? What's going through your head?
So while Lysander also kind of looks very like out of picture, he himself is kind of in another zone right now. He's kind of staring into the air. Something since the last battle has kind of been gnawing at his mind. There's a certain... He's trying to recall something that he's fairly certain he has read about before, but he just can't recall it. So as he's sitting with the wine in his hand, his eyes are just staring out into the room at nothing specific, just staring.
And I'm sharing another handout while we're talking about Lysander. I'm sharing a handout about Berkel's Academy, so we kind of know what we're talking about. And so, Asira, this is the two gentlemen you're sitting looking at, both with their books out, staring into something, nothingness perhaps, all the whole world, if you ask them. But let's see what you are.
Such fun company
Exactly.
to be at a tavern with.
Let's find out if there's some more fun company on the sides of you. So let's start with the left side, because there's a quite large, muscular woman. Let's just share another handout with you. This is Runa, the exiled berserker from Ediso, as Fanny mentioned. She's a formidable, towering female, and that says a lot even next to Asira, who's quite strong and muscular in herself. But Runa is something else, talking about someone who stands out from this tavern of solar woodlings in a different way than Lysander, almost the opposite way. Her feral green eyes, weather-worn skin, brown hair, but also this mystical that we talked about yesterday, this mystical bear tattoo, almost full body tattoo. So you could kind of see glimpses of here and there among her fur, armor pads, and fur skin and adornments like that. I just want to say that Runa is also displaying a proud assortment of trophies from not just beasts, but probably also creatures, maybe even humans, like bones and fragments or pieces of armor that you've kind of adorned her demeanor with, her appearance with. But Runa, please tell us about what's going through your head at this table and what you're doing.
Well, I am celebrating an incredible victory against feral beasts yesterday. So I'm having a very nourishing meal and probably quite a few ales as well to celebrate my prowess, while very likely fiddling with some sort of wolf skin as my next trophy, on the table.
To add to the collection. I like it. And I like the idea that you're probably just drinking as much as the rest of the table together, or more, to be honest, knowing who sits on this table. Let's move on to the last gentleman at the table. I'll share the last handout with you. It is Viper. And he is, of course, sitting over at the corner against the table. He positioned himself the most stealthy and skulky way he could on the table. Viper remains an enigmatic person, and you tell me otherwise in a moment, Mike, but he's probably still having his hood up. He's probably still having his mask on, his dark half mask. He's hiding beneath his shadowy wood. You can see these beautiful gold eyes actually kind of grinning, skulking out at you. There's an eerie touch to Viper, whatever kind of glimpses you can all get from his more closer appearance is probably pale skin, very, very dark hair on the borders of pure black. He exudes a mysterious and somewhat ominous aura, if you will it at that, that just keeps you guessing about what secrets you almost want to pour open from this guy, because he's probably full of them. Viper, tell me about what's going through on your head. Are you drinking? What are you doing over there in the corner?
I'm sitting in the corner and I have my hood pulled down in my face in the way that I can observe the whole table, but you can't really see my eyes. But I'm trained enough that I can actually kind of sneak peek into other people's faces and read their expressions and read the situation. While I'm perfectly fitting into the situation, it's all kind of like a learned behavior. So I have an ale in front of me, which I'm only sipping because I'm a rather skinny figure. And I don't want to impair my senses too much. So I'm sipping along because it fits the situation, and I'm kind of trying to read the table a bit more. Especially, I'm peeking over to the left side of me where Runa is sitting, trying to read a bit more what this colossus is, what her real intentions are. After what happened at our last missions, I'm carefully trying to figure out what kind of group I got myself into here.
Now, before we get to the rest and really find out what's going in this table, I just want to set the scene just a little further. So we need to talk about the rest of the people in the tavern. If we kind of go up to the north, the table north of you is actually filled with guards, and even a guard dog that are kind of... And this is not normal to this hamlet, but they've been traveling, and they found this Limping Bear Tavern, and they are spending the night here, these couple of guards, a knight and a guard hound. And they are sitting there, and they are not necessarily very attentive to you, but I think some of you, maybe potentially Viber, Runa, are maybe not super happy being that close to the guards, potentially, but let's see what's going on here. They don't seem to be focused on you. If we move around, we have a cat up at the bar, running around there, maybe knocking some glasses down. We have old Tom Winkler, an old tavern keep, who probably shouldn't be running this business anymore. He has help from his daughter, the barmaid, Kylie, going around, probably spending half her time delivering ale to Runa. Fiercely running back and forth, trying to take new old ales off, put new ales down. And then there's a lot of other custodians here at the tavern tonight, but I want to focus on the table at the middle, where you see 3 Ember Sword heroes sitting. And these are the survivors from the Ultra Deep, and they are pretty loud. So let's talk a little bit more about them. They speak loudly and proudly about their endeavors in the Ultra Deep, how they stood their ground against Shark himself, a massive robotic shape, and in the end managed to defeat him, or so they claim. How they saved Solarwood. They keep telling again and again how they saved Solarwood, how they are moving on to the capital to be congratulated by Dalcor Kritana himself. One of them actually stands up, one of the men, and starts proclaiming that they found evidence down in the midst of the apex of Ultradeep. And this is where many of you peek up from the books and pay attention, and peek up from your wolfskin and your ale, that he found something down into the Ultradeep. The evidence of a mystical artifact from an ancient time, somewhere between the lines of Pangaea and Thanabus. An artifact that can channel the very powers of the cosmos. However, some of his fellow survivors quickly actually grab him and put him down again on the table and like kind of, hey, come on, let's not talk too loudly about that. Maybe because he's too drunk, maybe because it's a lie, or maybe because he's talked about something he shouldn't. They seem very secretive about it. So this is actually where I leave it over to you. You can kind of talk among yourselves. You can go about the tavern. You can try and find out more. You can go up to Tom Winkler or whatever you want to do. The scene is kind of yours. So maybe we should actually move and start back with Asira. But this is not a combat scenario, so everybody please feel free to bring input. But Asira, knowing now everybody at your table, what's happening, what else is going through your head, and what are you up to?
I think I really like Runa's style. And I would like to share an ale and cheer together. Because some of these guys are drinking water, some are like, I don't know, staring at the ceiling, some others are like not looking at us at all. So shall we have a beer, an ale, and share together and congratulate our group on the achievements of the last battle?
I'm very interested in hearing about their battle prowesses. So I proudly stand and, show them my wolfskin, saying that I proudly wear my battle trophies and I demand to see their battle trophy.
Oh, okay. So as you kind of cheers with Asira, you actually stand up, almost like moving the table probably a little. Maybe a little bit of water and wine gets dropped on some of the books for you, Elias and Lysander. This woman kind of...
careful to as soon as she starts moving, to lift my book up to make sure nothing will fall on it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I mumble kind of into the corner, well, it was me that killed the elf, right? So...
Oh.
I did kill one, though.
Luna, do you think you are probably not paying it? You are probably focusing on the survivors of Ultradeep right now, right? Are you literally yelling this to them?
No, I'm more in a cheerful way,
Okay.
As in, let's exchange battle trophies and stories,
Okay, because it could also be, with your history, you have been in some tavern fights before, but maybe you are trying to control yourself tonight.
Yeah, but I've had a few ales.
Yeah.
I have a battle trophy. I'm quite happy tonight.
Okay. Are anybody else pulling up some trophies then, in the spirit of Runa?
I'm just making sure to peek an ear over and keep an eye on how things are going. I'm definitely interested in what the conversation is, but I'm trying to listen to it from a distance.
All right. Okay.
When I heard the word cosmos mentioned, my interest kind of peaked. So I'm kind of paying a lot of attention to the survivors right now. And I
Okay.
kind of notice Viper as well. Kind of being trying to get his attention.
Okay, this almost sounds like you're maybe trying to eavesdrop on the survivors, because they have gone from yelling a lot to actually pulling that guy down and started whispering a little bit, or at least talking on a level where it's not easy to hear. Are there anybody else who's trying to eavesdrop as well?
I'm trying to eavesdrop.
Okay. All right, let's just go with Lysander and Elias then, and let's find out what's going on between Elias and Viper afterwards at the end of the table. So Elias and Lysander, please give me a perception roll, which you should find under the wisdom skills in your character sheet. And you're probably looking for like at least medium to high roll to and speaking about that. and
Well.
Lysander, if you're looking at where you're sitting, it kind of makes sense, because you, like Runa and Asira and their conversation and their cheering is kind of like, making so much noise that it's very hard for you to hear what's going on at the other table.
Very hard to focus.
Yes.
On top of spilled beer and everything.
Yeah, there's just so much going on, right? But Elias, you are closer, and as you kind of lean out to the outwards of the table and kind of really tune in on the other round table with the survivors of the Ultra Deep. So you hear a letter, you hear mentioned that it's something that they lost, and you hear them mentioning something that they need to find. But you don't really understand what they're referring to or where they want to find it. But they are clearly trying to talk about something, except for that really drunk friend who's not really understanding what's happening.
And that goes on before Runa goes up and talks to them about trophies.
It's kind of going on at the same time, which is creating a lot of noise for Lysander. They're actually not paying a lot of attention to Luna. I mean, the guards are. The guards are looking very closely at Luna. As they kind of realize the bones are on her, dress. I guess they're trying to figure out if they're human bones. But again, these guards seem quite drunk as well. And Runa, are some of these bones human bones?
I am not at liberty to say.
Quite suspicious. Quite suspicious. All right. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Lysander, what are you trying to communicate to Viper? You said something about trying to get his attention.
Right. So I'm trying to kind of eavesdrop on the heroes, but it's not really. I'm kind of being distracted by what's going on ahead of me. And at this time, I don't notice that Elias is kind of sharing my goal here. So I kind of try to Viper to the side. And having seen his skills in battle, I kind of know how stealthy he can be. I'm trying to kind of convince him to maybe sneak a bit closer and have a look at this artifact they were kind of talking about.
So at first I was a bit annoyed by the outgoingness of the two ladies left on for me. The noise they make, the cheering. I like to keep a low profile, so I didn't like that in the first place, especially with the guards around and stuff, right? But of course, I knew what Lysander wanted from me before he even said psst, right? So I kind of like slowly stand up and tip over my ale in the process. Act annoyed by myself, my sloppiness in that regard. So I slowly make my way over to the bar to get a refill. But actually, what I'm trying to do is to get a peek of what the table over there is up to and what they're talking about.
I like it. Okay. I'll move you guys in this scenario, since it's not combat, to just make it more sense. I'll say you're probably taking the row closer to that table, right? So around that table on the southern side. Yeah, exactly. So let's say around here, and you guys, you see exactly what he's trying to. Actually, let's see if you're catching on to Viper's stunt or not. Viper, let's get a roll for how clumsy you're making this look and how good you are at this. Let's make a sleight of hand roll. I'll say that you're quite good at that. 22, guys. All right. So yeah, exactly. The rest of you actually see Viper being a bit clumsy, rolling over his glass, and he even adds like a little, okay, come on. All right. He stands up and he walks over, and I think except for Lysander, who is kind of catching on that you asking, the rest of you are like, what's going on, right? Maybe even Asira and Runa, you maybe even think that, because he's quite good at faking this. Maybe he's joining the party a little bit, right? He was about to drink. He finally maybe trying to get drunk, right? Okay, let's make a perception roll as you're going over there, but I'll give you advantage, Viper. So just roll as normal. We'll take the advantage because you've gotten quite close to the table. That is a natural 20 because that's green. So you have a -1 because of your wisdom, but it still counts as natural 20. Now we are playing with the homebrew rule tonight. The natural 20 always is almost like the highest success you could obtain realistically for you, right? So in this case, this is actually almost as good as if you rolled a 30 because this is a natural 20. So Viper going over there, there's much left on the table. There's not much left you can't see. So with that in mind, I mean, you see some dice, you see some cards, you see quite a lot of coin actually. These, I mean, that kind of speaks to them maybe telling the truth because they have quite a lot of coin on the table, more coin than any of you. Probably one of them more coin than all of you together. So they earned some riches wherever they were, right? I mean, they could be imposters, they could be faking it, but you don't think so. Looking at the armor and the weapons, you also see some magical items, probably also some swords or some things they could have found down there. They don't look like something you want to mess with physically. So you are maybe happy you didn't try to pickpocket them. It could have gone very wrong. One of them seems very imbibed, very drunk. But the two others seems to be so much at their senses that they're probably not fun to mess with. However, you do see something else. You see kind of like a testament or something like legal lying on the table. It's like a legal document of like some kind of inheritance or some kind of legal document of a group who have shared custody or who are sharing something. Could be something they found down the old street. Could be that some of them are in family together. You're not sure what it is, but it's a legal document. The letters are quite small and it's not very bright in here at this moment. But you see more than 3 names on it. You see 4 names. And the 4th name is crossed out. I will say with a natural 20, very angrily, like they have actually been sitting here and crossed it out. Maybe it's the same person the drunken one was referring to.
So I just gather up all that information. I go to the bar, I get a new ale. I return to the table very unsuspiciously. Maybe I'm going a little bit left and right, fitting in the scene. So I sit down back in my corner.
I'll just move you.
Looking very quiet, as if I didn't say anything, but I'm whispering to Lysander, and I'm giving him all the information that I just received in a very matter-of-fact way. Bullet points, nothing more.
Elias, do you also share at this time what you've overheard?
Do I notice Lysander and Viper communicate?
I think at this moment everybody at the table does.
Then yeah, I also share what I've heard them talk about.
So there's a letter mentioned as well, and starting to add some context to what you saw on the table, right? They're clearly looking for something from this 4th individual. Maybe he or she knows more about this artifact. Azira and Runa, I just want to... So what's going on? What are you guys actually, contributing or tuning into this, or are you trying to tune it out and like party?
I haven't noticed anything. But I did notice, and without necessarily, stealing the thunder, but I did notice like the guy behind me that does look suspiciously, and I feel like I want to arm wrestle him. Is that possible?
What guy are we talking about? Is it the guy all the way down in the corner?
Yes, he's there alone, like looking at us and like smurfing, and I don't like that. I don't like the vibe, and I think I've had a few ales, so I'm ready to arm wrestle.
Oh my god!
And Runa, you just got ignored, right?
I did, but I'm also, I generally kind of sense when something strange or potentially dangerous is happening. So as I see Azira trying to go and wrestle, that sad old man at the bottom of the tavern, I sort of refocus on my wolf skin and just casually pay attention to what's going on around.
God, obvious. I like it. Okay. So, Azira, how drunk are you at this moment? How much have you been... Do we need to make a constitution save is what I'm trying to think out here. Have you been drinking, like, pretty efficiently, let's say?
Yes. I think, drinking with Runa was quite a challenge. I think she can drink a little bit more than I can, yeah.
Yes. We need a constitution saving throw then to see if you're drunk. If you are legally officially drunk.
Is she
Let's
capable
try it.
of standing up and walking?
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
Oh my god. Asira, we all know it's one of those moments where you don't feel as drunk, but then you stand up, maybe too sudden, and you realize you're quite drunk. And that's kind of what happens here with Asira. She stands up, she maybe shake, the table gets moved a little bit again, and you kind of, because you're heavy, you have this heavy armor on, right? And you are very drunk. I think you actually probably just catches Runa's shoulder and like stands using his shoulder, and you start walking over to this table, but Runa, because you say you're paying attention, you can definitely see she's hammered. Are you gonna try and stop her, or are you gonna let her go over there? Or
No,
somebody
I'm
else,
not
of course?
really stopping her.
But actually, I wanted to ask Runa, because I do feel a little bit, let's say, like, not fully sober. So I'm not fully certain of my capabilities of arm wrestling this guy. So I'm asking Runa if she wants to join me. And
How sober is Runa?
Do you want to arm wrestle me, or do you want me to arm wrestle that old man with you?
I want you to arm wrestle the old man with me, or maybe if you can do it on my behalf.
Runa, actually,
Well-
let's find out if you're also drunk. But please make Constitution save. But I would say, because this is weaker Solar Woodling Ale instead of Edician, and I'm just making an educated guess here that it's weaker, make a Constitution save with advantage. Because you are used to stronger liquor. Let me go over to the chat here. Oh my god. Okay. Runa, you might have thought this was weak, but joke's on you, because Tom Winkler, he brews a mean ale, apparently. I don't know what he puts in it, but it's strong. It's very strong. This is a local Solarwood. This is not the capital. Shite. This is the local Solarwood Limping Bear Tavern Ale. And Runa, you are quite hammered as well. The women at this table are really, really going strongly tonight. Runa, what does this change what you want to say and what you think you should do?
Well, because I'm not able to, withstand Asira's drunkenness, I notice she's actually spilled her ale on my wolf skin. And I'm getting angry now,
I've seen that before.
This is going so wrong, and I like it. Okay, we are like an hour in. Guys, I don't. Okay, how angry are you? Is this like control? Like, are you literally angry at Asira, or are you just angry at the circumstance?
I'm angry at circumstances.
Okay, yeah,
But I
so
also
you-
feel like I don't want to support her anymore now.
Okay. Asira, you don't feel a lot of support and warmthness from this big woman. She actually seems quite angry. Do you let your anger out in any physical manifestation? Are you tearing the wolfskin apart? Are you hitting on the table? Are you
I'm just
crushing?
grunting.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I think, doesn't look good, does it?
And also, I want to say there's more people looking at you now, because you both kind of stood up half. Like, Runa probably half stood up, but at the same height as Asira, who's fully stood up. And people are kind of looking at you, maybe overheard something about arm wrestling. Like this, it's like it's causing a scene, right? So people are paying attention from other tables. They are like, traders sitting at the other side of the town, kind of looking anticipatingly at you. Guys, and I've kind of put you over in the corner now. Did the three of you who are kind of contemplating? Are you going to do something about this, because it's causing a lot of attraction to you as well?
I'm wondering whether Asira even notices Runa is angry with how drunk she is. But I guess we're definitely noticing.
Yeah, you are. You are.
I think I'm picking up my book, my prayer book, and I'm moving to the other table.
What
the one
table
to
are
the
you?
left of us?
Oh, to the left of us. All right, let's go. Over here?
Because I want to be not near the angry woman. I saw what did that last time.
Oh, that's true. You did. So, speaking of that, Viper, what are you doing?
While that whole situation is unfolding, I know this kind of establishment from my time, in the city and on the streets. So I just see an opportunity arising here. Let's keep that for now.
Okay, what about you, Lysander?
I sigh heavily as I feel I kind of have to deal with some of this now. So I move over to the two ladies.
Oh, we
and,
found a grown-up. All right.
Yeah, trying to kind of get them back to the table and not cause a mess.
Okay, do you go?
Because I kind of noticed the guards as well.
Are you gonna go between them and the old man? Kind of stop them from.
Yes, but I'm also like I'm not a physical person,
No,
so
okay.
I think
All right.
I kind of stand there, but I'm kind of like get back.
So let me ask you, Lysander. Like, doesn't that old man look suspicious to you?
Let's actually, Lysander, before you answer, let's actually find out. Lysander, please give me a straight insight check, and Azira, give me an insight. We're gonna give you disadvantage because you're drunk, as Glenn pointed out. So we're gonna take you as a disadvantage. So it's a 14 straight from Lysander. It's a 7 from Azira. Azira, he seems so freaking mysterious and creepy. He's not talking to anyone. That's because you rolled a bad insight, right? So this might not actually be what Lysander is sensing, but you, Azira, is sensing there's something onto this guy. You know, you don't like him. He's not having any friends over there. You don't know what he's doing. And Lysander, you just see this little older than, this older, maybe a little bit like Asian heritage looking guy, white, but like to the point where he doesn't actually look like he's super old. But again, his beard and his hair is white like yours. A little bit different, like age would bring, right? So maybe he's much older than he actually seems. But he's kind of, he seems actually very lean, strong. He's sitting well. He doesn't seem like a warrior. What I'm trying to say here is you have a hard time placing him. Because, he looks old, but he also looks in very good shape. But not, big and warrior-like. He doesn't have any weapons. He's dressed very nicely like you, but not as nice. Can't place him. What is he? A soldier, a merchant, a traveler? But he seems quite nice. I'll give you that. He doesn't... You don't get the same read as Azira. You just have a hard time placing him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the question kind of piques my curiosity for a couple of seconds as I eye him up and down. But as he meets my eyes, I glance back and realizes the situation that we're in. And I kind of communicate with my eyes, while my purple eyes, and whispering not here, not now, to Dasha.
I think that almost makes it more mysterious for you, Azira. It's like Lysander. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. It's not now.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can I, while all this is going on, sign to Viper to come over?
So, what's the deal?
So, I whisper to Viper, if anything happens there, and if they cause a commotion, you might want to make use of the distraction to see if you can snag something from that table over next to us.
Already done.
While that's going on, yeah,
I think I changed my mind. I think Lysander, thank you for helping with that. I've also Runa doesn't support me, so I'm intoxicated enough to change my focus completely. And I would really like to pet that dog that is next on the other table. Can I do that?
Yes. So unless somebody physically grabs the Azira, she's walking over to the guard table.
On to the next topic.
Can I speak to the dog?
Yes, absolutely. What do you want to tell the dog?
That it looks very, very pretty. And that I love him.
Try and do an animal handling check. I think this is just as... This is probably... I was actually about to say I would probably give you advantage, because it's not like you can speak dog, but making drunk probably does not make it more... You're showing your emotions more clearly, right? You're drunk. So I would say it's a 21 with animal handling. This dog is probably, very disciplined, very trained, right? Sitting here, very alert. You come over, it can kind of, stench of liquor and alcohol on you. So that makes it probably a little uneasy. But then again, with that role, Azira is used to animals. Azira is a folk hero. She's traveled a lot of Solarwood. You probably come from a village where you probably had dogs or other animals, and probably plenty had hounds, right? And oxes and stuff like that. So this dog actually decides, hey, you are kind of, except for the stench, you are actually quite trustworthy and you seem like a good person. So you kind of muffle it between its ear and talking to it. I don't know, do you hug the dog?
I hug the dog.
Yeah.
Yes. And I notice that there are people, the gods.
Yeah, they're looking at you. They're looking
at me.
Yeah.
And I ask them if they want to share a beer because I'm buying.
Try and give me a persuasion roll. All right, that's a 15. That's a pretty good roll. So I would say with a 15, the guards are looking at you, and there's this like boom moment that everybody's looking at. Also Elias and Viper. Like this moment, right, where you know, okay, it's gonna go right, it's gonna go very, very wrong in a second.